Hi, everybody. My name is Phil Bolander, and my company's name is Seed and Lead. I wanted to come on and just spend a few minutes with you talking about a recent blog that I put on my website, www.seedandlead.com. The title of the blog is Chaos. And what I want to talk with you about is sort of my take or my insights on chaos. And this is based on my 35-year career and continually being involved in situations where there was chaos. And I'm talking about operational chaos. So with that in mind, what's interesting to understand about chaos is very, very stressful in organizations. And that stress brings with it people's behaviors that are their backup behaviors, what I call backup behaviors. So people act in a normal way or a usual way when their stress levels are in the normal range. And then what happens is when they go into stress, or they experience higher levels of stress, then they act in these backup behaviors. And the backup behaviors lots of times lead to conflict. And so that's why these backup behaviors are not necessarily productive for an organization. The other thing that's interesting to understand about the stress, of course, is that the more stress that you live under, the more likelihood that you're going to have some health impacts around it. So it's interesting to look at the sort of the experience that you have when you're in chaos. And chaos is defined as being disorganized and disarray. Things aren't moving smoothly. They're not efficient. It's one of those things where you just race all day long and then you hit the finish line at the end of the day, whatever time that might be, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and you're just completely exhausted. You get right back on it the next day and do it all over again. So chaos is really, really damaging to you as an individual. It's damaging to the organizations that you work for that are in chaos. And so my take around it is that when people release the need to be in chaos, and there is a need, once people get involved in it, then they need to be involved with it. There's a hook to it. I can speak from my own experience that the more I was involved with chaos, the more I thrived in chaos. And my thriving was about taking the chaos and making it into order. So in order to release it, you have to be open-minded. You have to be willing to let go of the identity that you've built around living in chaos and be open-minded to what the next identity will be for you when things get cleared up and smoothed out. So it's also important in releasing it to be hopeful that things can be different from what they are, because deep down you do understand that when you're in chaos and it's impacting you both physically and emotionally, there are going to be both short-term and long-term effects. So the other way of releasing it is to have a vision of what things will look like when the chaos has been put back in order in some new way, or some way where things are running smoothly, there's less stress, that type of stuff that I talked about. So what do you replace it with? You replace chaos with order. I mean, chaos is replaced by order. Order is all around making sure that things are structured, they're organized, they're efficient, they're methodical, they're standardized. These are the things that people truly thrive in, these environments where things are very much lined out for them, and they're predictable, both in terms of the service that you're delivering and also the service that the clients, customers are going to receive. So really, really important to replace it with, as I say, all these positives. And of course, there's less stress when you're in a organized, efficient environment. So you might ask yourself, well, why is this important to me? Well, if you are in a situation where you're dealing with chaos, and I'm talking mostly about professional situations, however, there is chaos in our personal lives as well. And really the idea there is that if you're living in chaos, understand that there is something on the other side of that chaos, and it could be called order, it could be called efficiency, it could be called calm. It's up to you to define it. And you know if you're in it. I mean, even if you're in the deepest, darkest denial, which I've been in my life, you do know that you're in it, and you do know that it's having a detrimental effect on you. So why am I talking about this? Why would you want to invest time in listening to me talk about this briefly? One thing that's really important to understand is that my 35-year career was spent going into organizations that were in chaos and flipping them around, turning them upside down, putting them back together in such a way as to create the norm, to create the efficient model, to create create the streamlined, organized model. Apologize for the call coming in. So it's important to understand that there are people who do know how to go into chaos, turn it upside down, put it back together in such a way as to smooth things out. So as I said, 35 years in my career, worked in various leadership roles, worked in many companies, many of them being Fortune 200 companies. So the fact that I could move things in the direction of calm, cool, and collected, if you will, was really phenomenal, and it was really exciting work that I did when I did it. There's one story in particular that I'll share with you briefly. I went into an organization. The inventory was 83 days. The goal was to be at 5 days or less. And in a period of several months, we were able to turn that chaos of 83 days. You can just imagine all the things that were coming with the huge inventory, the huge backlog, and being able to turn it into order and structure and running efficiently at 5 days or less. So a lot of work in that. You look at leadership, you look at roles and responsibilities, you look at processes, you look at procedures, you look at capacity and volume, you look at all of the things that make an organization run smoothly, and you also look at the principles, make sure that the principles are supported. So I've talked about this. What I do want you to know is that I do have the solutions for taking chaos and making it into order. If it's something that you're interested in, I really hope that you'll reach out to me and contact me so that we can have a conversation around it. My email is phil@seedandlead.com. My website is www.seedandlead.com. And I can be found on Facebook, both my Phil Bolander page as well as the Seed and Lead page. And I'm also on LinkedIn, so you can find out more about me on LinkedIn. There are some articles on LinkedIn that you can read, and I keep up with postings on Facebook, so you'll get a sense of who I am and what I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So with that in mind, if you find yourself in a chaotic situation professionally and you're looking for some relief from it, you're looking for something to change around it, then I highly encourage you to reach out to me and talk to me. Now keep in mind that I'm able to support you both on the organizational level. So if your business or your organization is in need of going from chaos to order, I can work with you around that. Also, I have expertise and specialty in leadership development. So if you're a leader who's in chaos, trying to figure out what's next, how do you build the competencies, how do you build the skills, how do you build the expertise, I can work with you around that as well. So I can take you from the chaos to order in your leadership development as well. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. I know that your time is valuable, and I appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more about my insights around chaos. And I'm hoping that if you find yourself in a chaotic situation, that you'll think of me and have a conversation with me about what it might look like for us to work together. So with much gratitude, I wish you a really great day. Thank you.